UNEP Compliance Assistance Program was established to provide compliance assistance services to the Article 5 countries operating under the Montreal Protocol. And the UNEP Compliance Assistance OzonAction program actually provides specific compliance assistance to countries to enable them meet their national obligations under the Montreal Protocol. In addition to that, we also provide the capacity building services. We manage an information clearinghouse. We provide technical policy support, and we assist countries and governments in building capacity of stakeholders at national level so that they could make the right choices in terms of phasing out the HCFC with the replacement of alternatives. I think we are an important let's say crossroads in the life of the Montreal Protocol, because for the first time, as you're aware, the Montreal Protocol family and the parties to the protocol are actually discussing the possibility of an amendment of the Montreal Protocol to include the HFCs, which were used as default substances to phase, as replacements to phase out the HCFCs. And UNEP is providing very specific assistance to governments. UNEP is the lead implementing agency for about 75 HCFC phase-out management plans in 75 countries. UNEP is a cooperating agency with other agencies in about 25 countries, which makes a total of 100 countries in which UNEP is actively engaged in the phase-out of HCFCs. UNEP is also managing the institutional strengthening projects, which is very particular projects which were set up to build capacity at national level to manage the phase-out at national level. And UNEP is actually managing 105 IS projects together with governments in 105 countries. So based on this and the support we are providing to governments in terms of capacity building, we have actually focused and planned the work of the compliance assistance on building capacity for the refrigeration servicing sector. Now, the reason why we are focusing on the refrigeration servicing sector is because it is one of the most important sectors. Refrigeration, air conditioning, refrigeration servicing sector is a cornerstone to modern life. You cannot speak about food safety and security, basic health services, without reference to the refrigeration, air conditioning, without reference to the refrigeration servicing sector. From the mattresses we sleep on to the daily food safety and security that we are faced with, the ozone depleting substances are fundamental to our lives. And hence the need for bringing together a number of stakeholders to understand what are the training needs of servicing technicians who service the refrigerators and the air conditioners, whether they're in household, commercial refrigeration, or even refrigeration which is set up in hospitals, in tourism places. How would one address the needs of those technicians who come and service the apparatus at national level? What are their needs? What are their training needs? How would they choose between the different refrigerants which are available? And we have the alternatives now on the market in some countries, not in all of them, which actually have which are toxic or have highly flammable. And how would one then train the technicians to manage these? What kind of training does one need so that we have security for the personnel, and also we're able to protect the environment, because the ultimate goal is to phase out the ozone depleting substances, but to avoid the leakage into the environment and to protect the ozone layer. So this also requires basic skills to be enhanced and perhaps new skills to manage this future generation of refrigerants. So the refrigeration servicing sector, in our opinion, and in the UNEP program of work, is really a main focus of our work to assist the A5, Article 5 developing countries so that they put in place and adopt and adapt existing programs, that they take into account the new refrigerants which will be coming out onto the market as they are faced with their national obligations. They need to phase out HCFCs. What would be the refrigerant to replace them with? we have organized for the first time this international assessment workshop to bring together the industry partners, all the implementing agencies of the Montreal Protocol, as well as experts and stakeholders who are delivering training to refrigeration servicing sector technicians. We wanted to bring together these experts of about 52 people to discuss the different approaches and to come up with perhaps some kind of modules and a modular approach, so that all participants are quite aware of the need for refrigerant literacy, which is so important. And I think the value of refrigerant in our daily lives today should be enhanced, and hence we need to increase the value of these technicians who service our refrigerators and air conditioners, so that they have the best available means to be able to do their work. Hence the reason for this particular workshop. The countries have been extremely forward-looking and requested support through the implementing agencies to establish surveys at national level on non-ODS consumption and alternatives. And I think this is quite an important step forward by governments in trying to understand and project the levels of non-ODS, including the HFCs and high global warming potential alternatives that they're using at national level, to enable them to project for the future so that they would be able to make informed choices in the future. And UNEP was chosen as an implementing agency for almost 85 of these countries, and we are working with them to establish these surveys, which will assist governments in understanding the national refrigerant management, to be able to make informed choices on future refrigerants and to opt for the low global warming potential alternatives. And that also brings in place the need for this stakeholder workshop in bringing together all the different stakeholders who deliver training for technicians in understanding the needs of technicians, the needs of the training program, and also the availability, market availability of alternatives at national level, to enable governments to make the right decisions, the right choices. So we are at these important crossroads in the life of the Montreal Protocol, giving the world an opportunity to work together and to join hands in addressing not only protection of the ozone layer, but also in mitigating climate change. I think the message that one could take from this is that Montreal Protocol has been the most successful multilateral environmental agreement, and will continue to be so, because of the way it has been designed, and because of the mechanism and the institutions that were put into place. The Compliance Assistance Program, which I'm responsible for in UNEP, and the OzonAction program is actually fully funded through the Montreal Protocol as a means to provide these services to governments. And we are working with all developing countries to provide them the necessary compliance assistance services so that they meet their obligations. And this is a unique opportunity, and I recommend all the participants in this particular workshop to join hands and to develop training programs so that we protect our future generation of technicians, as well as strengthen the existing ones, that they can manage the new refrigerants that needs to be managed in the future.